Hi guys, good evening. Welcome to the another session of this top MCQ series. This is going to be the class number 5th of economics component for the upcoming SEBI Grade A 2025 examination. The MCQs that we are discussing here, they are important for the NPS examination too, right? So यहाँ पर आपके लिए बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है कि आप इन सेशंस को बहुत अच्छे तरीके से कवर करें एंड आई होप आपने प्रीवियस सेशंस को भी बहुत अच्छे तरीके से कवर किया होगा. गॉट इट. चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं. चलिए स्टार्ट करते हैं गाइस यहाँ पर डिस्कशन. सबसे पहले यू नो द रूल्स दैट वी डिस्कस द अचीवर्स क्वेश्चन. दिस इज द होमवर्क क्वेश्चन ऑफ द प्रीवियस सेशन एंड दोज हु आंसर द राइट, those who attempt the question correctly, their name is reflected in the next session. So the question is, what does the term net transfers refer to in the context of international economics? Options are the difference between the value of exported and imported goods, the difference between investment income received and paid abroad, the difference between gifts or transfers received from other nations and transfers sent to other nations, the total value of foreign direct investment in a country, or the net income from the international trade in services. What is the right answer? Right answer is option number C here, that is the difference between gifts और ट्रांसफर्स रिसीव फ्रॉम अदर नेशंस एंड ट्रांसफर सेंड टू अदर नेशंस. आइए देखते हैं किसने यहाँ पर सही आंसर दिया है. सो अनुज गौर इज गिवन द राइट आंसर एंड विनोद शर्मा इज आल्सो गिवन द राइट आंसर. सो कांग्रेचुलेशंस गाइस, एंड इफ यू आल्सो वांट टू सी योर नेम हियर, सो यू हैव टू आंसर द achievers question. Right, now let's start the today's discussion. Question number first is, what does the capital account track in a country's balance of payments? Options are the exchange of goods and services between countries, the flow of remittances and foreign aid into a country, all overseas asset transactions such as cash, stocks, bond and government debt, the balance of trade between exports and imports, or the allocation of government budgets and spending. Tell me the right answer here. So right answer is option number C, that is all overseas asset transactions such as cash, stocks, bonds and government debt. Question number second is, what does a surplus in the capital account indicate? Options are capital outflows exceed capital inflows leading to a deficit, capital outflow exceed capital inflows leading to a deficit, then further capital inflows are greater than capital outflows resulting in a surplus, the government's revenue exceeds its expenditure, the central bank has increased its interest rates to control inflation. So right answer is option number C. So what is the meaning of surplus, guys? Suppose if you're earning rupees 100 and if you're spending rupees 60 only, so at the end you will be having positive balance of rupees 40. This is the surplus position. Question number third is, what does a balance of payment surplus indicate? Right, BOP surplus we are talking about. What is the balance of payment surplus indicate? Options are, the country has a net outflow of payments with more money going out for imports, transfers or investment than coming in. The balance of payments is exactly zero, indicating that inflows and outflows are perfectly balanced. The country has a net inflow of payment with more money coming in for exports, transfers or investment than going out. The country is experiencing a trade deficit with imports exceeding exports, or none of the above. So what is the right answer? Option number C is the right answer. That is, the country has a net inflow of payment with more money coming in for exports, transfers or investments than going out. Right. तो यहाँ पे ज्यादा foreign exchange आ रहा है, foreign exchange कम बाहर जा रहा है, so that is the balance of payment surplus. Question number fourth is, a government budget is said to be a balanced budget if which of the following conditions is met? Options are, estimated government expenditure exceeds expected government receipts, expected government receipts exceed estimated government expenditure, estimated government expenditure is equal to expected government receipts, or there is no government borrowing in the financial year, the government achieves a surplus in its fiscal operations. Friends, you all have to participate in the session. Do let me know what is the right answer here. So right answer is option number C, that is estimated government expenditure is equal to expected government receipts. So we are talking about the balanced budget. Suppose if you are earning rupees 100 and if you are spending rupees 100, so at the end you will be having zero, neither neutral nor neither positive nor negative. So same is the case with government budget also. If estimated government expenditure is equal to estimated government receipts, then this phenomena is known as balanced budget. Question number fifth is, a government budget is said to be a surplus budget if which of the following condition is met? Options are, expected government revenues are less than estimated government expenditure, estimated government expenditure exceeds expected government revenues, expected government revenues equal estimated government expenditure, expected government revenues exceed estimated government expenditure, the government borrows funds to cover its expenditure. Now we are talking about the surplus budget. Tell me friends, what do you think? What can be the correct explanation of this question? Right answer is option number D, that is expected government revenues exceed estimated government expenditure, right? So if revenue is more than the expenditure, obviously, for example, same example, if you are earning rupees 100, you are spending rupees 50, which means you will be having the positive balance of 50. This is the surplus position. Question number 6 is, a government budget is said to be a deficit budget if which of the following conditions is met. Options are, estimated government expenditure is less than expected government revenue, expected government revenue equals estimated government expenditure, estimated government expenditure exceeds expected government expenditure revenue, expected government revenue exceeds estimated government expenditure, or the government does not borrow funds to cover its expenditures. What is the correct explanation, guys? Question number 6, what is the correct explanation here? So right answer is option number C, that is estimated government expenditure exceeds estimated government revenue. For example, if you are earning rupees 100 and if you are spending rupees 130, which means you will be in the negative balance of rupees 30. This is the deficit position. Question number 7 is, what is zero-based budgeting? Options are allocating resources based on historical spending levels, allocating resources based on the previous year's budget with incremental adjustments, allocating resources to agencies based on periodic reevaluation of all programs justifying the continuance or termination of each from a hypothetical zero base, allocating resources solely based on current economic conditions, or allocating resources by dividing the total budget equally among all programs. Please mention the question number, Santosh. Guys, please do mention the question number as well while attempting so that I don't get confused. Tell me, what is the right answer for zero-based budgeting? Right answer is option number C, that is allocating resources to agencies based on periodic re-evaluation of all programs, justifying the continuance or termination of each program from a hypothetical zero base. So in order to allocate the funds, we do not have any historical base. Rather, we are taking hypothetical zero based, and based on that we allocate the funds, right? And over the period of time, we make a periodic evaluation so that we can get to know whether the funds have been utilized correctly or not. Yes. Question number 8 is, what is the primary focus of gender budgeting? Options are allocation of resources based solely on population demographics, reducing overall government expenditure, ensuring that all government programs and schemes are gender sensitive from formulation to follow-up corrective action, implementing economic policies to increase GDP growth, auditing financial statements of private corporations. What is the right answer? Right answer is option number C, that is ensuring that all government programs and schemes are gender sensitive from formulation to follow up corrective action. Question number 9 is, what does a revenue deficit indicate? Options are, the government's total expenditure exceeds its total receipts, the government's capital expenditure exceeds its capital receipts, the government's revenue expenditure exceeds its revenue receipts, the government's expenditure on infrastructure exceeds its tax revenue, or the government's revenue receipts exceeds its revenue expenditure. Yes, guys, tell me, what is the right answer according to you? We are talking about the revenue deficit. So right answer is option number C, that is government's revenue expenditure exceeds its revenue receipts, right? So when government's revenue expenditure is higher than revenue receipts, so this is the phenomena of revenue deficit. Question number 10 is, what does the term effective revenue deficit refers to? Options are, total revenue expenditure minus total capital expenditure, revenue deficit excluding interest payments on government debt, revenue deficit excluding revenue expenditures that are grant for the creation of capital asset, total revenue receipts minus total revenue expenditure, revenue deficit excluding subsidies. Yes, tell me, what is the right answer, guys? So right answer is option number C, that is revenue deficit excluding revenue expenditure that are the grants for the creation of capital assets. So if any revenue expenditure is used for the creation of capital asset, then in that case what will happen, that will be reduced from the revenue deficit, and that will give the figure of effective revenue deficit. Question number 11 is, what does the term fiscal deficit refer to? Options are, the difference between the government's total revenue receipts and total revenue expenditure, the difference between the government's total capital expenditure and total capital receipts, the difference between the government's total expenditure and total receipts excluding borrowing, the amount by which the government's revenue receipts exceed its revenue expenditure, the shortfall in the government's budget after accounting for grants and subsidies. So what is the right answer, guys? Right answer is option number C. That is the difference between the government's total expenditure and total receipts, excluding the borrowing. So basically, this is the amount. The borrowing is the amount that tells the government that how much government needs to borrow here. Got it? This is the fiscal deficit. Question number 12 is which of the following options best describes the term primary deficit, right? So options are excess of total expenditure over total receipts, excess of revenue expenditure over revenue receipts, excess of total expenditure over total receipts less borrowings, excess of total expenditure over total receipts less borrowings and interest payments, or none of the above. What is the right answer? Right answer is option number D, that is excess of total expenditure over the total receipts less borrowings and interest payments. Question number 13 is what does the term monetized deficit refer to? Options are the part of the government deficit financed by borrowings from international financial institutions, the part of the government deficit financed by foreign direct investment, the part of the government deficit financed solely by borrowing from the Reserve Bank of India, the part of the government deficit financed by the issuing government bonds to the public, or none of the above. Right answer is option number C. That is the part of the government deficit financed solely by borrowing from the Reserve Bank of India. Question number 14 is what components are included in the revenue budget? Options are capital receipts and capital expenditure, revenue receipts and revenue expenditure, only tax revenue, revenue receipts and capital receipts, or only non-tax revenue. Guys, we are talking about the revenue budget. So right answer is option number B, that is revenue receipts and the revenue expenditure. Question number 15 is what components are included in the capital budget? Revenue receipts and revenue expenditure, capital receipts and short-term operational expenditure, capital receipts and long-term capital expenditure, then only capital expenditure or only capital receipts. Friends, you all have to participate. Please do let me know. What is the right answer, guys? Right answer is option number C, that is capital receipts and long-term capital expenditure, right? So under the capital budget, we take into account the capital receipts and the capital expenditure. Question number 16 is which of the following best describes the capital receipts? Options are receipts that neither create liability nor reduce assets, receipts that create liability or reduce assets, receipts that only increase government income through taxation, receipts that are generated from day-to-day operations of the government, receipts that exclusively come from foreign aid. So we are talking about the capital receipts, guys. Do let me know. Right answer is receipts which create liability or reduce assets, or both. Got it? So these kind of receipts are known as capital receipts. Question number 17 is which of the following best describes revenue receipts? Options are receipts that create liability for the government, receipts that reduce government's assets, receipts that neither create liability nor reduce assets, receipts that are generated from the sale of government assets, and receipts that exclusively come from borrowing. Tell me, guys, we are talking about the revenue receipts. What is the right explanation here? Right answer is option number C, that is receipts that neither create liability nor reduce assets. Like for example, you can say the income tax, right, excise duty, then interest, then further you can say profit, dividend. They all are the example of revenue receipts because these kind of receipts neither create liability nor reduce assets. Question number 18 is which of the following is not an example of revenue receipts? Options are sale proceeds of goods, interest received, commission received, rent received, sale of long-term assets. Yes, friends, tell me what is the right answer here according to you. So right answer will be option number E, that is sale of long-term assets, because sale of long-term asset will be the capital receipt and not the revenue receipt. Why? Because ultimately it is impacting the asset, and whenever assets and liabilities are getting impacted, then in that case that will be a capital receipt, not the revenue receipt. In all the rest of the options, they all are the in all the options, neither assets nor liabilities are getting impacted. You can see sale proceeds of goods, interest received, commission received, rent received. In all these cases, assets or liabilities are not getting impacted. That is why they are the revenue receipts. Question number 19 is Which of the following is an example of non-tax revenue receipts? Non-tax revenue receipt options are income tax, corporate tax, sales tax, profit and dividend, customs duty. We are talking about the non-tax revenue. Read the term carefully, non-tax revenue receipt. Automatically you will get to know. So right answer is option number D here, that is profits and dividends. You can read income tax is a form of, you can say, tax revenue receipts. Corporate tax is in the form of tax. Sales tax is in the form of tax. Custom duty is in the form of tax, right? Only profit and dividends is the category which is a non-tax revenue. This is the revenue receipt for the government which is not in the form of tax. Got it? That is why it is known as non-tax revenue receipt. Question number 20th is, which of the following is an example of a capital receipt? Which of the following is an example of a capital receipt? So options are interest received on investments, sale proceeds of fixed assets, revenue from the sale of goods, commission received or rent received from property. Read the question carefully. We are talking about the capital receipt, and I told you about the capital receipts, that capital receipts are those receipts which either create liability, which either create liability or which reduce the assets. Yes. So according to you, what can be the correct explanation? Right answer is, yes guys, option number B, that is sale proceeds of fixed assets. Rest all the options are the revenue receipt, like for example, interest received on investment. So interest received is the revenue receipt. Revenue from the sale of goods, revenue receipt. Commission received, revenue receipt. Rent received, again revenue receipt. This is the sale proceeds of the fixed asset. Why? Because here assets are basically going down. Got it? Assets are decreasing here. That is why this is the capital receipts. So these are the 20 questions, guys, that I wanted to discuss with you. Now this is the achievers question. Those who will be giving the right answer, again their name would be reflected in the next session, guys, as I have done in this session. So question is, which of the following correctly distinguishes between a debt creating and non-debt creating capital receipt? Options are, a loan is a non-debt creating capital receipt and does not have to be repaid with interest. Money received through the sale of government bonds is a non-debt creating capital receipt and is not a debt obligation. Money received by the government through the sale of stakes in a public sector enterprise is a non-debt creating capital receipt and does not have to be repaid. A loan is a non-debt creating capital receipt, while disinvestment is a debt creating capital receipt. Disinvestment funds have to be repaid with interest, making them debt creating capital receipt. Right. So correct answer, you are not supposed to tell here. You have to mention the right answer in the comment box, and those who will be giving the right answer, their name will be reflected in the next session. Right. So guys, this is all with respect to this session. I have discussed 20 questions with you again here. But you know that SEBI has increased. SEBI ने यहाँ पर vacancies increase कर दी हैं. Earlier it was 56, but now it is 77. And I hope you have started the preparation. If not, guys, then you can still start the preparation because you have sufficient time. यहाँ पे you can become the part of our SEBI Grade A crash course, in which you will get each and everything like live classes, notes, MCQs, mock test, each and everything you will get here. The link of this is given in the description. Click on the link, go through the demo classes, go through the notes, go through the MCQs. After that, take an informed decision whether you want to prepare for SEBI with the guidance program that we are providing here. But for that, you need to use the code Prakash if you want the maximum discount, right? फर्दर नबार्ड का भी यहाँ पे हमने कोर्स लॉन्च कर दिया है, क्रैश कोर्स भी है लॉन्च. यहाँ पे यू विल गेट ईच एंड एवरीथिंग विच इज इंपॉर्टेंट फॉर यू टू प्रिपेयर फॉर द नबार्ड ग्रेड एग्जामिनेशन. वो भी आपको सारी चीजें यहाँ पर मिल जाएंगी. इसका भी लिंक यू कैन गेट इन द डिस्क्रिप्शन. यहाँ पे लेकिन इफ यू आर प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर नबार्ड, सेबी, आरबीआई, पीएफआरडी एक्सेट्रा, सो यहाँ पे अलग अलग कोर्सेज यू आर नॉट सपोज टू एनरोल. रादर यू कैन सिंपली सब्सक्राइब द रेगुलेटरी बॉडी सुपर पैक, इन विच यू विल गेट द एक्सेस ऑफ 10+ courses of the regulatory body exams like RBI, SEBI, NABARD, PFRD, SIDBI, IFSCA, IRDI, NPS, ECGC, right? So you will get the access of all these courses as a part of regulatory body super pack. So if you go for these courses separately, so you will end up paying 10x cost. Rather, you can simply go for the super pack through which you can prepare by paying 10% of the cost, right? सिर्फ इतने में आपकी प्रिपरेशन यहाँ पर बहुत अच्छे तरीके से हो जाएगी. The link is again given in the description. You can enroll it. ठीक है. But one important thing that you have to use the code Prakash if you want maximum discount, irrespective of the course, be it SEBI crash course, NABARD crash course, और यहाँ पे हमारा रेगुलेटरी बॉडी सुपर पैक. आप यहाँ पे किसी भी कोर्स को एनरोल कर रहे हो, सिंपली यूज द कोड प्रकाश if you want maximum discount. If not, then you can ignore this information. If you want maximum discount, apply the code Prakash. You will get the maximum discount, right? And use my Telegram group. This is particularly created for the students. Do join it in case if you have any query ठीक है, आप यहाँ पे सिंपली डिस्कस कर सकते हैं, जो भी आपको क्वेरी है आप मुझसे पूछ सकते हैं. मैनी स्टूडेंट्स आर टेकिंग द एडवांटेज ऑफ दिस इनिशिएटिव, यू कैन ऑल्सो स्टार्ट टेकिंग दैट. सो कॉन्फिडेंस के साथ आप यहाँ पे एग्जाम की प्रिपरेशन कर सकते हैं. So guys, this is all. Thank you very much for watching and listening me. We'll meet in the next session. Do not forget to answer the cheapest question, because I want you to see your name in the slide here if you attempt it correctly.